Hey there, and welcome to GamePoints episode 103. This is our little weekly get-together. We talk about the past week in gaming news. I am, as always, your host, Stephen Brown. Joining me today is...
I'm David.
Okay, it's going to be a good show. I can't even say my name right today. We do stream live here on Twitch TV/GamePoints every Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you can join us live, please do so. We try to answer chat when we can. If you can't, you can always tune into our YouTube, regardless of where you're watching us at. Like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. David.
Yes.
Normally, I like to do some kind of soft open, kind of something to lead us into the news, but what happened over the past few days over this Shadow of War charity DLC is so egregious, in my opinion, and so serious. The topic is extremely serious in nature because it does involve a family losing someone, the question of maliciousness. There's a lot of rightfully heated tempers over this. I don't think that any kind of fluff would do this topic the justice it deserves. We need to get right into it.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So, if you haven't heard, there is this game called Shadow of War coming out. It has kind of been the topic of many discussions over the past few weeks, mainly because of Warner Brothers' business practices along with it, including microtransactions, loot boxes that have pay-to-win equipment on there that can be permanently lost in a single-player game, cryptocurrency. It essentially every single heinous business practice you can think of in AAA development has found its way into this game.
In one game.
In one game.
Courtesy of WB. Specifically, WB Games, the company that has brought you a whole bunch of train wrecks in the past, are now putting together the ultimate cash grab in the form of Shadow of War, the Shadow of Mordor secret.
Yeah.
I think that sums up most of what we've covered in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Just every single feature we hear them adding out, every little piece of like collector's edition nonsense, it's all just designed from the ground up to get every last penny from gamers and people that like the first game. Sorry.
No problem. So, we've been talking about it heavily because the game looked very promising and still does, all this nonsense aside. And it's always worse when it's a game that looks like it's going to be great that ends up being bloated with this crap. I'm going to preface this story by saying a lot of other YouTubers and personalities out there have covered this already. Most of them, such as Sid Alpha, Total Biscuit, Jim Sterling, have all prefaced their videos saying, hey, this is a very sensitive discussion because there is someone's family directly involved. Keep cooler heads. Let Warner Bros. Know that what has happened sucks, but keep it calm. I will not be doing that. My sympathies go out to the family involved with this. It's definitely not something I would wish to be visited upon in this horrible time. But I cannot hold back my rage on this specific topic right here. Consider me a flawed human or whatever have you. But this is so distasteful to me. I am not going to let Warner Brothers just slide with a little, they shouldn't be doing this.
This isn't a slap on the wrist style offense.
No. Let's get into it. For those of you who might not know, Warner Brothers recently announced a... well, let me go back a little bit further. There was an executive producer at Monolith by the name of Michael Forgey. And he passed away from a brain tumor last year, a cancerous brain tumor. Took his life at the age of 43. Fucking horrible. Cancer sucks to begin with, but dying from it at the age of 43 is especially harsh. Yep. And I'll also say, and I'm not trying to like gain sympathy points or anything, I've known people who've died from cancer. I've had high school friends who have died from cancer. So this is kind of one of those, like, I got a little bit of a personal stake on this one. But Monolith was going to immortalize him in in Shadow of War upcoming with a DLC character named Frog Orc-Slayer, Fortog, for Forthog Orc-Slayer. That was a name that he was known as online. It was like his persona, and they included him in some DLC. Awesome, that's fine. Let me run the trailer here for you. He was supposed to serve kind of like the mysterious stranger in Fallout, to where if you're just getting your ass beat, like you see right here, he comes out of nowhere and just smashes an orc with his guitar-shaped Warhammer club thing, which is kind of badass. Michael played in the Monolith House Band, from what I understand, so music was a big part of his life. It's a very cool tribute, I think. It's awesome that he's in here. This is where a little bit of the scuzziness starts to come in. Warner Brothers is selling this DLC separately. Now, I'm fine with what they're trying to get here. It's going to cost $4.99, and $3.50 of each sale is supposed to go to the family of Forgy. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Forgy, I believe. Awesome. It's charity DLC. We can look at the fact that Warner Brothers isn't matching 100% of the DLC, that they're still taking $1.50 off the top. But we can also say that, hey, that could be Steam's cut of the game that they're taking, because Steam takes cut of everything sold, and they can't or won't match up on that. I can't say for certain. But either way, know that it's not a 100%. 100% of the sale is going to the family of the man who died. Okay, I could let that go. It feels a bit crass that Warner Brothers wouldn't do a 100% match, but hey, that's fine, right? Any initial thoughts so far, David?
Well, no. Let's keep going.
Okay.
We'll get into this.
If you watch the entirety of the trailer, you have a bunch of text done at the end. Let me see if I can bring that up here. Here we go. Mike Fortog Frogy was an executive producer and our great friend here at Monolith. We lost Mike to cancer during the development of Shadow War, and we want to remember and honor him with a little bit of immortality in Mordor. WB Games will donate $3.50 of every Fortog Orc-Slayer purchase to the Forty family through December 31st, 2019. Putting a date on it's reasonable, because you can't be expected to keep track of this stuff 3, 4, 5, 10 years down the road. That's fine. But do you see... Let me get my hand pointed in the right direction. Do you see this little tiny fine print down here?
Yeah, down there on the bottom.
That fine print there says that the $3.50 from every transaction sold will only go to the family in cases where the DLC is bought in the United States, and the United States alone. Additionally, if you live in the states of Alabama, Hawaii, Illinois, Massachusetts, Mississippi, or South Carolina, this does not apply. So that means only in 44 of the 50 U.S. states will the money raised from this charity DLC be given to the family. If you buy the DLC in any one of those 6 states, if you buy it overseas in Europe or Asia or Australia, this money goes into Warner Brothers' pocket. They are fucking selling charity DLC meant to support this man's family. And in most of the world, they are keeping 100% of the profits, according to that fine print. But they are still marketing it as charity DLC.
Completely and utterly. And that's really what we need to talk about. It's one thing to have this idea and put it together and say, hey, we're going to include this DLC character as a tribute. Anybody's going to be able to pick it up. We're going to donate the proceeds from it. That's a thing. Okay. The fact that they don't donate all the proceeds from it, again, maybe there's some kind of cost included. But the fact that it only takes place in part of the United States is really, really fucking shady.
The fact that it's being pushed as charity DLC, and only even if it was all 50 states, that it's not global, is really fucking shady. Now, I understand charity laws not only vary from country to country, but state by state.
Mm-hmm.
Big corporations still do stuff like this all the time, where they make sure 100% of the donation gets where it needs to go. All it requires is a bit of fucking legwork.
Yeah, well, because instead, what most likely they have set up is some kind of system where you pay the money and the money goes directly to like the whatever GoFundMe or whatever donation box, more or less, that it would be going to, as opposed to them just matching the price of the DLC and then donating it themselves, which would be really easy to do.
Yeah. All of these are things that could be very easy to do if they were half-assed and if they cared fucking enough to actually go through the hoops to do it. They don't. Flat out. Once again, let me reiterate. Warner Brothers is selling charity DLC, pushing it as, hey, help support the family of this man who died, and only in 44 states in America compared to the entire world is that money going to the man's family. Now, we can even get nitpicky and say it should be 100% instead of the $3.50 on the $5, but that aside, let's assume they have no control over that, because that's what the platform holders like Steam and PSN and Microsoft's Xbox Live systems take out. One, they are wealthy enough to fucking match that $5 if you want to do it that way. But all that aside, anywhere else, not in those listed areas, Warner Brothers takes it all. And they're saying it's for fucking charity.
And here's the thing, is they could just be clear and upfront and say, hey, in these territories, the donation system won't work properly, and we're going to match it, or we're going to make the donation.
Yeah,
because
you can
they were
do that.
asked about it. They were asked about it, and they said that they would not be making any profit on the DLC. They mentioned that, but they've given no further details whatsoever on what that could possibly mean.
Yeah, Warner Brothers did send a statement out to multiple outlets today.
If they're not matching it, if they're not making any money, then where's that money going? And how is it very difficult for them to just tell the media? Send out a note. Send an email.
To touch on what you're talking about, Warner Brothers sent out a statement today saying, quote, neither Warner Brothers Interactive nor Monolith Productions will profit from any sales of the Fortalk Orc-Slayer DLC, regardless of a territory which the DLC is sold. Okay, cool. How are you managing this then? Why wasn't this clarified at the beginning? Why did you have that? Why wasn't this already put in the fine print out the gate? What steps are you taking to ensure that the family gets this money? Because at this point, Warner Brothers, I don't fucking trust you, and no one should.
Yeah, I don't believe them at all. Why would I?
Now, is this maliciously done? Was there some executive at Warner Brothers saying, I know how we can make more money. Let's fucking profit off this man's death? No, I don't think so. What this is Warner Brothers showing its fucking incompetence. It's the left hand not talking to the right. This is all supposition. This is all just a theory. But what I see happening is the dev team at Monolith went, hey, I have an idea. Let's make this tribute to our friend and put him in the game. The game at this point is already far along. We can't let's cram something in here. So we will have it as DLC. Mm-hmm. That still has to go for the publisher. The publisher, Warner Brothers, in a blinding lack of creativity, because fucking they go, oh, well, it's DLC, all DLC must be charged $5, because that's what we have for DLC. It's not maliciousness, it's fucking lack of imagination. One person gets that and sees DLC come across and like, okay, tribute DLC, charity, rules based that we have on charity is this, this, and this. Okay, cool. Here's the fine print, and sends it off. Doesn't bother to do any extra research into how it would be on the states, because that's not that guy's job. That guy's job is to just make sure that the legal side of things is up and up based on what Warner Brothers' current policies are. So he doesn't ask anyone else about, hey, maybe we should expand this to include all of America or worldwide. He just gets handed something and goes, make sure this is legally up and up. Here's this on there. No oversight. No one checks with them. No one talks to anyone about what's going on. He goes, okay, cool. Then it will get sent off to marketing. Marketing isn't paid to make sure all charity stuff is on the up and up. They're not paid to go, hey, maybe we should make this worldwide. No, they're paid to market it in the way that makes sense. So they create this trailer. They slap the fine print on the end. They don't bother to inquire about it. It gets passed off to whoever approves it from there. Nowhere along this line does someone stop and think and go, hey, maybe we should include the world in it. Maybe we should find ways to have all 50 states included, because there are ways to do this. None of that happens. It's just this non-stop passing off of the idea going, okay, well, I've done my job. Let's push it off somewhere else. And that's what I mean by the left hand talking to the right. No, not once do I feel that any of these people got together in the room and went, this might be seen as really fucking crass. We should probably think about this, because that's not how Warner Brothers operates. Warner Brothers operates... What was that?
Not even a little bit.
No. Warner Brothers...
look at every policy decision they made over the last 3 years.
Yeah. They operate by fucking committee. They have a set of rules. They follow those rules. Any deviation from that plan is considered verboten and not allowed to happen. That's why you see the same fucking shit over and over and over from them. They don't fucking innovate anymore. They are so rigid in their corporate thinking that they have no way to deal with something unusual like this. Once again, I will clarify that this is just all what I think the problem is at the Warner Brothers management level. I don't think this was done maliciously, but their stunning incompetence on this particular fucking issue just shows how callous and disconnected from reality they fucking are.
Yeah, Warner Brothers is pretty much a piece of shit. It's so frustrating that they're incapable of approaching something like this with actual delicacy, and write a blog post, write an email, write a letter from the CEO. I'm sure we're gonna get something like that a week or two from now. That's gonna backtrack some of this, and they're going to put some kind of half-assed plan out that they should have just said in the first place that'll make people feel better. But they don't. They just don't think at all. And just based on the way that company's been ran for the last couple of years, I just don't think they should be supported anymore. I mean, I can't tell people not to buy games because people are always going to buy games, but don't buy their fucking games.
Yeah. So here's...
and we'll talk about it, and we'll have links and everything. But if you want to help out the family, donate directly to the family. Don't pay for Warner Brothers fucking DLC that they get to keep a chunk of. They say they don't.
Yeah.
Where's my fucking proof? Just donate directly to the family.
The family does have a You Caring page. I think it's You Caring. Yeah, You Caring page set up here. Help Michael Forgery fight cancel. This was set up a long time ago, but you can still donate to it, it seems. I'm going to post that link here in the chat. And if you are watching this on YouTube, there will be one down in the information below. Don't buy the DLC and just give that $5 directly to the family. That's one thing that I would suggest doing. If you want to donate to multiple cancer research groups, go for it. A lot of the YouTube community that I was mentioning, I was talking about this earlier, Sid Alpha, Total Biscuit, Jim Sterling, have demonetized these videos or have already stated, hey, any money we make off this is getting donated to it. GamePoints runs without any advertisement. So if you're seeing advertisements on this video, it's probably because Warner Brothers claimed to put it on there. Other things that Warner Brothers could have done instead of this is, one, just match the sale of all DLC by 100%, right? Rather than going, a cut of this DLC will be given, just go, hey, for every DLC, every specific DLC with this make, we will make a bulk payment of $5 per and go, here, give this to the charity. That shit happens all the time. That can be worked out easily on the legal level. I know every fucking country has different rules and everything like that, and I think some of them require disclosure of sales figures, which I think is the main reason why Warner Brothers Interactive didn't go that route, because they don't want to disclose sales figures because they're so fucking... Publishers in general are paranoid about releasing numbers unless they're really good numbers, in which case they'll scream to the high heavens down to the exact ones unit of how much of something they sold. They could just give the DLC out for fucking free. Here,
I think
this
just
is
be a patch.
yeah, this is in here. Games have done that before. World of Warcraft is known for memorializing hardcore players in the game. There are multiple instances. I think some in one in particular, somewhere south of Orgrimmar, there is like this mountain with this monument on top that's a tribute to this fallen player. Games do that all the time, and then you can go, hey, we are, for every copy of this game sold, we are going to donate like $1. Just give a fucking flat out bulk donation to the family. You can't tell me Warner Brothers Interactive doesn't have just a shit ton of money that they can go, this is good PR. We can fucking write it off on the taxes because that shit's so heavily tax deductible. We can just go, here, have $300,000. And you get all the good publicity for it. You could have just fucking put up a traffic link to the website that I just linked at, youcaring.com, or had some kind of fucking cancer awareness page up there. Didn't even have to give any money. Or, Warner Brothers, you could have just fucking done nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing would have been.
You could have just let Monolith release the character and just add it to the game and be done.
Exactly. Nothing would have been better than this fucking PR nightmare that you have created. Not through maliciousness, but through incompetence and ignorance and the inability to fucking talk to your audience. And this has been a problem with major publishers for a long time, but you specifically, Warner Brothers Interactive, in that people have been going, what the fuck is up with these microtransactions? And what do? You shut down the fucking Steam forums about it. You lock people out. You have power tripping mods going around and blanking out people's posts. And you give no fucking PR response at all. Who do you pay to do your fucking PR? Because they suck at it.
I don't think they pay anybody. I think they do it in-house and they're all fucking retarded.
At the end of the day, if this was anyone else, including the big names like EA, Ubisoft, and Activision, then I don't think this would have necessarily blown up as big as it did. It would have been crass. It would have been fucking talked about for damn sure. There would have been a couple videos about it. But because it's specifically Warner Brothers, and because the track record for this game so far has been loot box gambling, the fucking cash marketplace,
every single thing we learn about this game is a money-making scheme by WB.
Yes.
Everything we learn about this game, every new piece of deal, of details, of DLC news, whatever it is, it's built with them making money in it. There's no like positive fucking press on this game anymore. There isn't.
No. The fake cryptocurrency bullshit where you can pay to win or pay real money to get it. The pay-to-win mechanics where you fucking get orcs that can be fought and lost permanently because of the ranking system. People were already pissed off. Now what you have done is given them the moral... Like, you can already argue, like, the morality of this stuff. But the whole idea that you're defrauding a charity, which is... Not to put too blunt of a point on it, but that's what you're fucking doing. You're defrauding people if you're not giving 100% of what you're promising to the family. If you're going, hey, buy this for charity, but if you live in Europe, we're going to pocket $5. You're fucking defrauding people. That is what you are doing, Warner Brothers. I want you to be cognizant of that. I don't care if it was incompetence. I don't care, oh, I didn't know. And I don't care if this blew out of control. Your inability to fucking make a point rivals my own.
You know,
supposed to be a dig at myself because I was so angry, but it didn't quite go off the way I wanted to.
You know what I think they should have done?
What is that?
If they still wanted to do this, and they still wanted to be like, hey, we're going to put this DLC out, but in order to get a copy of the DLC, you have to pay us somewhat. They could just hit them with the Humble Bundle. You know, a scheme that's been working for a really fucking long time. Where guess what? Here's this DLC that's based on our producer that passed away, and you can pay what you want for it, and the proceeds can go directly to the family charity that's set up, or you can split it with the developer and you get sliders. If you want to give it all to charity, you can do that. If you want to give us $1, them $4, whatever you want to do, but leave it in the hands of the consumer.
That's what I'm getting at.
You're going to do this kind of shit. I mean, I'd have been fine if all the money just went to charity regardless, but I mean, I get it. If you want to try and get something back for the guys that put this together, even though I'm sure they did this out of their own kindness, they didn't do this to make money. They did this to honor their friend.
Yeah, let's be clear here. This is not. I do not think Monolith had any choice in this matter.
Fuck no. Monolith wanted to add their friend to the game, and they did. The handling of it from there on is all the WB.
But you make a good point in Humble Bundle, which just highlights something I mentioned earlier. The avenue to do this shit is in place.
Yeah, it's really fucking easy. Make a phone call.
You have a legal department. Trust me, I know. I've gotten letters from them about copyright. You have a legal department that is designed to handle this shit. That is what you pay them for. Pull your fucking head out of your ass. Do you have anything else you want to say on this topic before you move on with the rest of the news, David?
Fuck you, WB.
Fair enough. If you do want to donate to to Michael, I forgot his name. I apologize. Michael 4G's family. The U-carrying links down the chat below. It will be added to the show notes down below as well. Take that $5 you'd spend on this DLC and just give 100% of it to the family instead of 80% or whatever it works out to be, or possibly even none of it at all. Once again, I will also say Warner Brothers has said they're not going to make any profit from sales on this game, on this DLC, but they've given no specifics nor clarifications on how that's going to work.
And they're really damn shady.
Yeah.
And we have no reason to trust them.
Never encourage people to actively pirate a game. But if you wanted to send a message, I would say don't pay 1 single cent to play this game. I am not encouraging you to go out and steal it. I would say go out and rent it. Or watch a YouTube clip of it being played. Or whatever your conscience dictates for you to do. But do not give Warner
only really
Brothers
crappy
any money
thing
for this.
Is Monolith and all this.
Yeah, that sucks. I am not angry at Monolith at all, and Monolith is a good developer. I like the stuff they have done. But
WB's just got to stop.
Yeah, a message has to be sent somehow.
Got to get rid of them. Got to shut them down.
All right. Now that unfortunate business out of the way, let's go ahead and continue on with the rest of the news. David, why don't you go ahead and lead us into the next topic?
And things remarkably less serious. Wow, it's a difficult switch. Anyway, in a story from IGN, the SD card maker SanDisk, who also makes the hard drives and all kinds of other stuff, have partnered with Nintendo, and they've revealed that moving forward, they will be making SD cards for the Nintendo Switch, and some upcoming Nintendo Switch games will actually require a micro SD card in order to run properly. In order to get the full experience of the game, you will need an SD card, an additional SD card to store additional content. For me, this kind of makes sense if you think of the fact that we have to install games on the PlayStation, install games on the Xbox. The Switch doesn't really have any damn storage, so
no, it's part of what they had to give up to make it portable.
Yes, I understand this happening. It's just now something that's confirmed. We know for sure there will be games that require you to have a separate SD card in your Switch in order to play them. So you will not be able to play everything with just the Switch itself. And since SanDisk and Nintendo are partnering to make Nintendo-branded micro SD cards, I'm willing to bet those will be a little bit extra expensive. Now, I don't know enough about the Switch to tell you whether or not it does have just a traditional micro SD card slot, and you can just use any old SD card. But obviously, there's going to be some Nintendo ones that they're going to say are a little better that'll probably also cost 3 times as much.
No, I think you need... let me check one thing here. If you're in America, I understand you not being 100% aware that the Switch will eventually require a lot of games to use an extra SD card. But this has been something that's been happening in Japan already. This is, I don't want to say old news, but a lot of people already know about this, specifically with Japan, 'Because back in March, they released a game called Where is it? Where's the game? Dragon Quest Heroes. The Switch port of Dragon Quest Heroes required this extra expansion slot, this extra expansion card to actually run. So this isn't necessarily new. This is all old news, but nothing in America that's come over to the US yet has required one of these. By the way, it does require a micro SDXC card. What the difference is, I don't know. But it does require something standard than the $12 SD card that you can find. According to the Kotaku Australia article, back when this first happened in February, if I can find it, a 128 gigabyte SanDisk card, the micro SDXC card, ran $157.
Oof.
Now, that was 8 months ago or so.
It doesn't take the same card that you can put in your 3DS.
Yeah, I don't think so. Can't attest to that.
I think this is the higher quality card, like you'd put in like a GoPro.
I believe so, but I cannot attest to that personally because I've not physically looked at it. I have a Switch, but it's not something
if you are
like
a Switch owner and you're looking forward to the next series of Switch games, it is a good idea to look into getting a little bit of additional storage. You will need it.
Yeah, you will need it for games as more and more third parties start embracing the Switch because the Switch has sold very well. Next story. This is just a little bit of a quick hit on something that I personally have been keeping my tabs on. It looks like the Vivendi takeover Ubisoft is still continuing. According to Dom's Plains Twitter account here, Vivendi reported the first half of 2017 results today, and as of June 30th, it now owns 26.87% of Ubisoft shares, up slightly from 26.8% as of March 10th. They keep gobbling up that company. I think a takeover is impossible.
Imminent.
Yeah, impossible to avoid at this point. We've talked about the pros and cons of Vivendi taking over Ubisoft. We've talked about how Ubisoft and the Gilmore family doesn't want this to happen, but it doesn't seem like they can really fight it off. I'm sure we'll revisit this when it finally does happen. It's just something I wanted to get out of the way real quick.
Oh yeah, we'll get there. It'll happen. It's gotta. And then I think the surprise news story of the week is that for the 30th anniversary of Street Fighter 2, they made a 30th anniversary edition, which, I mean, that makes sense. 30 years later, they have a new version of a game come out that you can buy to, support that original game. Except for the fact that it's a Super Nintendo cartridge.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing, actually.
Legitimate. Street Fighter 2, 30th anniversary, Flame Red Fancy Edition. Sold for $100. They only made 5,500 other things. They are all gone for sure.
Yeah, in fact, I'm looking at the webpage right now. It says sold out.
For a shit ton of money if you still want to try and pick one up. But there's one kind of interesting thing. Of the 5,500 copies of Street Fighter 2 30th Anniversary Edition, they've made 4,500 of them as the opaque Rio headband red color. And 1,000 of them are going to be what they're calling Blanca Green, which is like the translucent glow-in-the-dark color. And they're completely randomized in the boxes.
That, I think, is kind of bullshit. I hate that gambling mechanic bullshit. Because that's what it is, right? Can we just admit that? That's fucking gambling.
Well, the funny thing to me is that there's no way to know without opening the box. And opening the box devalues it. But if you open the box and confirm that it's the green one, you just had a bunch of value added back into it. So you're going to have a whole bunch of people that open up these Super Nintendo cartridges. Because I highly doubt anybody that buys this is going to just stick it in their Super Nintendo and play it.
Yeah.
That seems highly doubtful to me unless you manage to get multiple copies of it. But if you open it up and it's the red one, you just lost a bunch of value because it's just the regular old copy, but you open up it's green. Oh, man, that's just weird. It's weird.
There are going to be people who have, like, those little tiny cameras that, like, SWAT uses to go under doors to check for, like, terrorists. And they're going to, like, slide that into the cartridge and go from there.
And then that's how they're going to, like, sell it on eBay.
Yeah. Cool that a new game came out, or a Super Nintendo game came out. I really like that fact that it works. I like the idea of just old retro shit. Still potentially easier to find one of these than it is a Super Nintendo Classic. Or you can just buy a Raspberry Pi.
Yep. By the way, those Street Fighter 30th anniversaries are already up on eBay for $600.
Yeah, that seems about right. All right. Anyways, I think that wraps things up for the news this week. And that Street Fighter 2 thing is kind of cool, but I did see it ships in November. It's a couple months now, David. What if I wanted to play something right now, though?
Oh, you want to play something new? Well, not something you can play right this second, but the big thing we need to talk about that's coming out this week is Destiny 2.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually excited for it.
Talk about it.
I'm legitimately excited for it.
Reminder for all the PC Master Race kids that it is only coming out for Xbox One and PS4 this week. The PC version will be released later. So if you're
waiting, 3rd or 4th week of October, if I recall.
You're looking to see what your friends are going to pick up. Well, they're probably going to pick up the Xbox One or the PS4 version if they're playing it this week. So that's where you're going to have to go. Lucky me, I can just wait for PC because I don't really need Destiny 2 at the moment.
I'm in the same I'm in the same boat. Over the next 7 weeks, we have so much shit coming out. Wolfenstein, Evil Within, Divinity Original Sin 2, Samus Returns.
Although
it's going to get big real quick.
After that PC beta, it'd be hard pressed for me to find somebody who actually owns a good gaming PC that actually wants it on console.
Yeah, it looks amazing on PC. Did you finally get a chance to play it?
Oh no, it was long gone by the time I got a chance. I found out about it way too late. I thought it was a closed beta, wasn't paying enough attention, and got totally screwed. So for me.
Yeah, I'll probably be getting it though. I am sold on Destiny 2. It's just frustrating that they're doing this staggered launch bullshit.
It's the way PC works, man. You know how long we waited for Grand Theft Auto 5?
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Also coming out is Lego Worlds for Switch. This is the Lego... Okay, so Minecraft is Lego the video game, more or less. This is Lego the Minecraft, the Lego the video, however you want to say it. It's the Lego video game. It plays a lot like Minecraft. You build things with Legos. You explore an overworld. You can break stuff. There's completely procedural generated worlds. Everything's made of Lego bricks. You can build vehicles. You can find elephants. Everything from your Lego fantasies is a real life game.
Now this has been out for a while, right? It's
actually been out for a while. It came out in March for everything else, PS4, Xbox, and PC. It's got pretty decent ratings, 3s and 4s, more or less positive, depending on who you're talking to. But yeah, it's a big world. It's Minecraft, basically, and now it's on your Switch, which is probably going to be the best place to play it. Also coming out this week is Knack 2 for PS4.
Baby, Mark Cerny's dream child.
A sequel to a game that nobody asked for a sequel to. I mean, seriously. Who played Knack and went, man, I can't wait for the next one?
I don't know.
Like, that game had average reviews at best. I don't think it was sold that great. But Knack 2 is one of those games that they were showing off for the PS4 Pro, if you recall.
So here's the thing about Knack. The first one I didn't care too much about. The second one, okay, whatever. But the developer, the guy who's making it, Mark Cerny, that man is a fucking legend when it comes to games development. You remember Marble Madness in the 80s?
Oh, yeah, dude.
He fucking made that. He's been around forever.
Shit.
He worked on Sonic the Hedgehog 2. He worked on all the Crash Bandicoots inspired, well, not all of them, but he worked on Crash Bandicoot inspired the Dragon, some of the Jak and Daxters.
He's also written by the guy that wrote a bunch of the God of War games.
Yeah, Mark Cerny again.
No. Mark Cerny and
Marianne Krasnick, I believe is her name. Just something you wouldn't expect. But yeah, Mark Cerny, when it comes to the technology side of things, just look at that man's resume. He's been around for a while and knows a lot. He knows his shit, despite Knack being Knack.
Whatever, man. Knack's got stuff going on, and it's co-op. So how many other games do you have that are local co-op for your PS4?
Not many. I didn't know it was actually local co-op. That's actually kind of cool.
I'm fairly positive it's local co-op. That was one of the things that I was reading about. But I could be entirely wrong. Who knows? Let me know if you play the game.
Yeah, it wasn't... you know what the first Knack was? It wasn't bad. It just wasn't good.
It was Heavenly Sword for the PS4.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's a game that showed up at the beginning of a console to show you what that new console can do and give all the other devs an idea of what's potentially possible.
Fair enough.
Totally fine. I have trouble finding fault with like launch versions of games, provided they're marginally decent. because I know they're like working with new tech and they have no idea what the hell they're doing, more or less, and they just make a game and see what they can get away with.
It's definitely better than making a PlayStation 3 game and just putting it up to PlayStation 4, like, say, EA or Activision does all the time.
Zing! Also coming out, definitely not a port. It's totally a port. Monster Hunter Stories for the Switch, a game that came out on 3DS quite a while ago. This is the not really a Monster Hunter game that's similar, more to like a Pokemon style game. You actually play as what's called a rider instead of a hunter. They make that the distinction in the game, and you kind of collect Monster Hunter monsters.
Doesn't that literally defeat the point of calling it Monster Hunter?
Yes, it absolutely does. This is a game loosely based in the Monster Hunter universe that is actually a turn-based RPG that uses rock, paper, scissors mechanics for all of your battles. It is cutesy. It is just barely Monster Hunter-y, and it's, for me, really more of a cash grab. But when it came out in Japan on 3DS, it was the number one selling game for 6 days.
I don't necessarily trust what Japanese sales charts.
Well, also
not that their numbers are
6
wrong.
Days, not
yeah,
weeks.
that's
not
what I'm
months.
getting at. Not that their numbers are wrong, but because they get so into the minutia for it that it's kind of useless. You could say number one selling game in Japan for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, they did it. They made it.
So it's not necessarily a metric I think is too important to mention.
But it's, I mean, I guess it's like a fun game. If you like being in the Monster Hunter universe but don't like any of the actual challenge or fun of the Monster Hunter series, then yeah, go for it. You do you. I'm not going to judge.
Hey, while on the topic of Monster Hunter, I know this is kind of derailing the show a little bit, but have you taken a look at Dauntless yet?
Dauntless?
Yeah. As a Monster Hunter fan, okay.
Wait. Yeah. I know what Dauntless is. That's like the 3D kind of cartoony looking action RPG that I think I saw it like E3 last year or whatever.
I saw someone play it on Twitch recently, and it looked like a PC version of Monster Hunter. Kind of cartoony, not digging the art style. But then I remembered that Monster is actually coming to the PC soon, so.
Yeah, we got that coming next year. Monster Hunter was playable at PAX if anybody went there. That's a thing. From what I hear, it was amazing. I didn't get to go. Womp womp. Also, finally, a game coming out this week. RBI Baseball 17. A fourth in the series of RBI baseball games, none of which have done well, none of which were very fun. A game that's gotten 0 updates, uses the exact same graphics engine. You know the joke where like the sports games from EA come out every year and it's more or less just like a roster update? This one literally is.
Now, I remember...
The only thing it really has going for it is the fact that it's $30 and it's a like old school, like no campaign, just pick up and play a baseball game. But the new mode in like MLB The Show is the entirety of this game, and it's better.
So you said this is the 4th RBI baseball, but I could have sworn I remember playing this back in like Nintendo Sega Genesis days.
I don't think that's the same game.
Hold on. I gotta find out here.
I don't think it's the same franchise or creator. How's that?
They are listing those in this Wikipedia article. You know, Wikipedia being the bastion of 100% true facts. But according to this Wikipedia article here, the game had a run between 88 to 95, with the last release being on the 32X. And
Okay,
only
so
the 32X. And then in 2014, 15, 16, and 17 have produced new ones.
Somebody bought the name RBI Baseball from an old series from the 80s, which does not count, does not matter. This is unrelated to that. Just, if you want to play a baseball game, save your money and get a better one.
Okay. Yeah, no, fair, that's definitely true. Get the show.
Unless you don't have a PlayStation, then get whatever.
Then go out and play stickball.
Yeah.
Except no substitutes. Anything else for new releases? Does that wrap it up?
I think that's
just
about
miscellaneous small crap no one cares about.
There's some other little things that I don't know are probably more important than RBI Baseball, but RBI Baseball made the list.
Fair enough.
No.
All right. Well then.
I don't do a lot of editing anymore.
This has been kind of a quick show, but it's Labor Day weekend. Who cares? This has been Game Points episode 103. Once again, thank you for watching. This show does fucking up the
Monday
extras.
Evenings at 8 p.m. PST, Pacific Standard Time. Dude, I took your Dexia just then.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, let's start that over again. This has been Game Points episode 103. This show does air every Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here at Twitch TV/GamePoints. We do encourage audience participation. If you happen to watch us live, join in the chat, type in questions, or just general tomfoolery. If you can't watch us live, however, please feel free to go to our YouTube page. Just type in GamePoints one word, and we pop right up there. Regardless of where you happen to be at, like, comment, subscribe, dislike, email the show at GamePointsPC@gmail, or you can tweet at the show at GamePointsPC here on Twitter. If you want to follow us individually, you can follow myself at CapitalistPig21, or you can follow David Smith there at PalShaft_Satori. This has been Game Points, and until next week, we are out of here.